Occasionally, cryptocurrency business owners may receive something called a grand jury subpoena. It's a pretty rare thing to happen, but it does happen, and when you get one, you don't want to be caught flat-footed, not knowing what to do with it. First things first, don't toss it out. It's real, and it's serious. But don't panic. We'll go over the steps you'll need to take when responding to a grand jury subpoena, and how to make sure proper procedures for doing so are documented in your AML program. First things first. What is a grand jury subpoena? Let's start with the grand jury function of the criminal justice system, in case you're unfamiliar with the concept. Grand jury trials are like pre-trials and are used to determine whether or not there's enough evidence to charge someone with a crime. One of the ways prosecutors gather evidence is with grand jury subpoenas, which are formal requests for documents by a U.S. court of law. But here's the problem. Responding to a grand jury subpoena isn't always as straightforward as it may seem. This is why it's important to make sure everyone is on the same page by outlining your grand jury response process in your AML compliance program. Ideally, your policy should include detailed instructions surrounding each of the following steps. Step 1. Determine who at your company will receive grand jury subpoena requests. For many crypto businesses, this will be the BSA compliance officer. Upon receipt, the BSA compliance officer should immediately stamp the subpoena as received on the current date in order to establish a paper trail. The BSA compliance officer may also bring the grand jury subpoena request to the attention of legal counsel for review. Step 2. Review the subpoena request. Establish which documents have been requested and find out who in the company can supply them. Be sure to notify employees that no documents or records related to the client or clients of interest should be deleted or discarded until further notice. Everyone should also be aware that grand jury subpoenas are highly confidential and should not be discussed with anyone. Retain copies of any communications with employees concerning a grand jury subpoena in your document log. Step 3. Retrieve the documents. Employees should also keep records as they gather the requested documents and deliver them to the BSA compliance officer. Notes should be kept on when the documents were retrieved, where they were stored, and what information they contain. Step 4. Review and respond. The BSA compliance officer will then ensure that all requested documents have been accounted for and are labeled correctly. They should also make sure that the document trail log is up to date in case it's requested by the court. When everything is in order, follow the directions on the subpoena and deliver the requested documentation to the grand jury. Prior to delivery, as a matter of best practice, you may request your legal counsel review the documentation to be shared. At this point, your BSA compliance officer should also review the requested documents and file a SAR if any suspicious activity is detected. As you can see, the grand jury subpoena response process is a delicate thing. The steps you take when responding must be well documented in your AML compliance program. Receiving a grand jury subpoena may be rare, but every employee at your company should be well trained on the policy and understand their role in fulfilling it. If you need help crafting your business's grand jury subpoena policy, BitAML is happy to help. Contact us today for a free consultation.